Before you allow yourself to drift into this experience, it helps to understand something important about the mind and about curiosity itself. This is not about forcing you into becoming something you are not. It's not about erasing your identity or taking away your choices. In fact, trance tends to amplify awareness rather than remove it. It creates a focused state of awareness where the deeper parts of the mind can explore possibilities without the usual noise, tension, or social pressure interfering. And what's interesting is that many people move through life believing attraction must fit into rigid categories, as though desire were a locked room with only one acceptable door. Yet, human imagination rarely behaves that way. The mind wanders. It wonders. It experiments. Sometimes people who consider themselves completely straight discover moments of fascination, fantasy, emotional intrigue, admiration, or unexpected hunger that doesn't neatly fit the label they have worn for years. And that does not automatically mean something catastrophic has happened, because fantasy is fluid. Curiosity is fluid. A passing desire does not erase your history. A moment of openness does not invalidate your masculinity. The subconscious mind does not operate according to social slogans or internet arguments. It responds to sensation, emotion, novelty, chemistry, permission, tension, safety, imagination, and connection. So during this experience, there is nothing you need to prove. You are not here to argue with yourself. You are not here to become anything. You are simply allowing yourself to notice what already exists beneath the pressure of labels. And strangely enough, when resistance softens, clarity often becomes easier, not harder. Some men discover they are simply playful and curious. Some discover emotional flexibility. Some discover hidden desires. And some discover nothing at all except relief from fear. And all of those outcomes are acceptable, because this experience is about permission. Permission to wonder. Permission to imagine. Permission to notice desire without panic. And as you begin relaxing, you may become aware that the more the mind stops trying to define everything, the easier it becomes to simply experience sensation honestly, without needing an immediate explanation. And that honesty can feel liberating, warm, unexpectedly peaceful. And as you continue listening, you may notice the beginning of a subtle shift, where curiosity itself starts feeling safe. Allow your eyes to settle gently on a single point somewhere in front of you. Nothing special about that point, just a place for your awareness to rest while your body begins to loosen naturally. And as you focus there, you may notice tiny changes already beginning. Perhaps your breathing shifts slightly. Perhaps your eyes blink a little slower. Perhaps your thoughts begin drifting the way thoughts do when the mind realizes it no longer needs to perform. Take a slow breath in now. And as you exhale, allow your shoulders to soften. That's right. Another breath in. And as you breathe out, notice how easy it is to let unnecessary tension melt away. You don't need to force relaxation. You only need to stop resisting it. And in a moment, I'll ask you to close your eyes briefly, then open them again, allowing each cycle to guide you deeper inward. So now, close your eyes and drift. Good. Now open them again briefly, noticing how the outside world already feels slightly farther away. And close them once more, deeper this time. Each closing becoming easier. Each opening less important. Each breath carrying you further inward. Good. Now imagine that with every exhale, a quiet wave moves through your mind, loosening old rigidity, softening unnecessary defenses, relaxing the need to immediately categorize every feeling. And you may notice how peaceful that becomes, because the subconscious mind already understands something the conscious mind sometimes forgets. A thought is not a threat. A fantasy is not a command. Curiosity is not danger. And as that understanding settles deeper, allow one hand to rest gently against your chest or thigh. Let that become your anchor of permission. Anytime that hand rests there during this experience, your mind remembers, I am safe to explore. I am allowed to feel. I can remain grounded while becoming open. And every time you repeat that touch, the feeling strengthens. Safe to explore. Allowed to feel. Grounded while open. Again, safe to explore. Allowed to feel. Grounded while open. And once more, safe to explore. Allowed to feel. Grounded while open. Now, let your eyes remain comfortably closed as your awareness drifts deeper and deeper inward. Imagine now that you are entering a private space designed entirely for honesty. A place where no performance is necessary. No judgment exists. No audience waits to evaluate you. Perhaps it feels like an elegant lounge hidden away from the world. Warm lighting, soft music somewhere in the distance. An atmosphere that feels masculine, calm, grounded, yet undeniably charged with possibility. And in this place, nobody asks you to explain yourself. Nobody demands a label. Nobody rushes you towards certainty. Instead, there is only permission. Permission to notice. Permission to feel. Permission to become curious about the sensations already moving quietly beneath the surface. And maybe you notice how exhausting it's been trying to maintain perfect certainty all the time. as though every attraction had to be filtered, approved, categorized immediately. Yet here, none of that matters. Here, desire can simply exist without interrogation. And perhaps you become aware of another presence nearby. Calm, confident, warmly understanding. Someone who sees through all the unnecessary tension and recognizes the deeper truth beneath it. That curiosity does not weaken you. It humanizes you. And maybe part of you notices a growing thrill in being seen without needing to defend yourself. Because there is something deeply relaxing about no longer fighting your own imagination. You don't need to decide anything tonight. You don't need to redefine your entire identity because of a feeling, a fantasy, a moment, or an impulse. Instead, you simply allow yourself to experience openness. And as that openness grows, the old fears begin losing intensity. The fear that attraction changes everything. The fear that masculinity disappears. The fear that curiosity means losing control. Because what you discover instead is something surprising. The more relaxed you become, the more grounded you feel. The more honest you become, the less panic exists. And maybe that realization alone feels quite intriguing. Now imagine yourself walking slowly down a long hallway lined with closed doors. Each door represents an old belief, an old rule, an old assumption about what you were supposed to feel. And with every step, you become calmer, heavier, more receptive. 10. Stepping forward comfortably. 9. Breathing slowly. 8. Letting old tension dissolve. 7. No need to rush. 6. Feeling curiosity growing softer and safer. 5. Halfway down now, and perhaps you notice some doors quietly opening on their own. Doors labeled certainty, shame. Doors labeled fear of judgment. And as they open, they empty themselves behind you. 4. Deeper now. 3. Feeling the soothing weight of permission. 2. Drifting inward effortlessly. 1. Arriving at the final doorway. And beyond it is a version of yourself untouched by panic, untouched by rigid conditioning. A version capable of simply feeling what he feels honestly. Step through now. That's right. And in this deeper state, every breath multiplies relaxation. Every exhale loosens resistance. Every moment of openness feels more natural. Touch your chest or thigh once more now, reinforcing the anchor. Safe to explore. Allowed to feel. Grounded while open. Again, safe to explore. Allowed to feel. Grounded while open. And deeper still. There is a difference between identity and experience, a difference between labels and sensation. And your subconscious mind can begin understanding that distinction more deeply now. Because people are complex. Attraction can be layered. Fantasy can exist without demanding immediate conclusions. And the more you relax into that understanding, the freer you become. You no longer need to panic over every spark of curiosity. You no longer need to wrestle aggressively against imagination. Instead, you can allow yourself to acknowledge attraction, honestly and calmly. You can appreciate masculine beauty without fear. You can notice desire without collapsing into crisis. You can become fascinated by the emotional intensity of connection, closeness, energy, vulnerability, confidence, or surrender, while remaining entirely yourself. And perhaps what becomes most exciting is realizing that wanting something in a moment can simply be part of being human. Fluid, playful, alive. And the subconscious mind loves permission, because permission dissolves tension. And when tension dissolves, pleasure often expands naturally. Not forced or demanded, simply allowed. You may even notice a growing sense of confidence emerging from this openness. Because real confidence isn't fragile. Real masculinity isn't threatened by curiosity. Real security allows exploration instead of fearing it. And every time you touch that anchor point on your body, your subconscious reinforces this emotional flexibility. Safe to explore, allowed to feel, grounded while open. Safe to explore, allowed to feel, grounded while open. That's right. Now imagine yourself sometime in the future in a situation where attraction or curiosity appears unexpectedly. Perhaps you notice someone charismatic, attractive, magnetic in a way that surprises you slightly. And instead of panic, you breathe. You remain calm, grounded, curious. You allow the feeling to exist without immediately needing to explain it away. And that calm honesty feels powerful. Imagine another moment now, perhaps alone with your thoughts, exploring fantasy privately. And instead of shame, there's fascination, warmth, permission. You realize you can experience fantasy safely. You can explore mentally without fear. You can remain fully yourself while allowing your imagination freedom. And perhaps another future scene appears. One where you feel emotionally close, understood, validated, and you recognize how natural openness can feel when judgment disappears. The old rigidity simply matters less now, because certainty is no longer required for peace. And every future moment of curiosity becomes easier to handle calmly, maturely, and honestly. No panic, no crisis, only awareness, only choice, only permission. And touch that anchor once more now, safe to explore, allowed to feel, grounded while open, locking that feeling deeper into the subconscious mind. In a moment, I will count from 0 up to 5, and as you return, you bring back a calm sense of emotional flexibility, grounded confidence, and freedom from unnecessary fear. 0, beginning to rise gently. 1, energy returning to the body. 2, feeling lighter and clearer. 3, breathing more fully now. 4, bringing back confidence, calmness, openness, and self-acceptance. And 5, up and aware, eyes open, fully alert, refreshed, grounded, and feeling surprisingly peaceful. Over the next several hours and days, you may notice subtle changes continuing naturally. Less panic around curiosity, less rigidity around labels, more emotional honesty, more grounded confidence. And every time you use your physical anchor, touching your chest or your thigh gently, those feelings of safety and openness return automatically. Safe to explore, allowed to feel, grounded while open. You may even discover that the less you force certainty, the more relaxed and authentic you become. And that authenticity can feel incredibly freeing.